And what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm pretty sure by now everyone has heard this crazy, insane news. That's what just took place. They've indicted President Trump again. And this time, it appears to be that they're indicting President Trump over free speech because President Trump have the audacity to question something. The audacity. How dare you question what we on the left are saying? You know what? There's so many things that's happening right now in the world to where if you question what they are trying to convince us to believe, they are say something's wrong with you. They call you hateful. They call you all of these colorful names if you question what they are pushing onto us. Thank everybody for tuning in. My name is Will Johnson. Please, if you're on Facebook, please type in exclamation point notify. It's just like that, just like you see it. One word. You will get notifications. You can always turn them off, but you'll get notifications by typing in exclamation point notify. That is only on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up for me. Please smash that thumb button and also hit the share button on it for me, as well as on Rumble. Thumbs up and hit the share button. They indicted President Trump. I'm so irritated. And you know what? The left, they're probably like happy. They're all dancing around like cockroaches in the nuclear holocaust right now. They're all happy. They're all up and down the street, partying, getting jiggy with it because they said, this time we got him. This time we got him. It keeps, I'm still reminded of the Wile E. Coyote. Right? When they're going after the Roadrunner, and every single time the Wile E. Coyote does something, think that they got the Roadrunner, and bam, it reverses on them. Nothing has been sticking. Why would they go after President Trump so tough? Because they are terrified of him returning, because they know that if President Trump returns, not if, but when President Trump returns, they know that he's going to get them. So that's why you have the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, the IRS, all of the other three-letter organizations within inside of the federal government, all against President Trump because they know that they are done. They are done once President Trump returns. He's going to clean house. You thought President Trump just mentioned talking about draining the swamp. There's not going to be a bottom to the swamp when Trump is done, and they know this. James Comey, just a couple months ago, went on on MSSTD, was talking to Jen Psaki saying that if President Trump comes back, he's going to get us. He's going to get us. He literally said that. And I'm like, this is the reason why they're doing what they're doing. And on top of that, here it is. The Biden crime family get exposed to all the criminal activity that they've been doing. Get exposed. Hunter Biden was supposed to get the sweetheart deal, and all of it's just supposed to go away like it never even happened. Well, that didn't happen. And then you had Devin Archer go in and tell the Republicans what they've already suspected about Joe Biden. If Devin Archer's testimony to Congress wasn't that damaging, listen to what I'm telling you. If what he told the Republicans was not that damaging to Joe Biden and to the Democrat Party, they wouldn't be indicting President Trump today. If they wanted to indict President Trump over this, they would have done it 2.5 years ago. They would have done it already. They would have done it a long time ago. They're doing this because President Trump is leading in the polls. President Trump is beating out everybody. Everybody. And we're just in the primaries. And he's beating out everybody. President Trump does not have to do a single debate because even when President Trump don't show up to the debate, he still wins the debate. Because the American people have already made up their mind on who they want because they see the level of corruption. They see the level of corruption. And the only person that can truly bring an end to most of this corruption is President Donald J. Trump. And they know this, or they wouldn't be doing what they're doing right now. Another indictment, and they're doing it before somebody comes for what happened in January of 2021. They said, we got to do it for that reason. We got to do it for that reason. And what did President Trump say that day? He told people, march peacefully. But see, when demons hear the word peace, they get all riled up. They think it means something else. Let me give you another example. And this is just an example because President Trump is just a man. When Jesus was saying positive things, what did the demons do? The demons said that Jesus was being hateful. They said the demons today would say that Jesus is not being inclusive. They would say Jesus is anti-Semitic. They would say all of these things. They would say Jesus is racist when he created everything. He created all mankind, all these colors. They would say he's racist. Trump, which is just a man. President Trump told people after that day when it was all going down, be peaceful, go home in peace, respect law and order. That's what he said. But they don't hear that. The demons on the left, they hear something completely different. They hear, oh my goodness, he's doing terrible things because he's telling people to be peaceful. He's doing terrible things. He's telling people to respect law and order. He's doing terrible things. This is the mind of those on the left. 100%. For them to go to this extreme, turning our country to a banana republic. Straight up, how many of y'all been watching me? And I've constantly told people, I said, we have the U.S. Constitution. I agree. But I told people constantly, if the people that are in power don't adhere to the U.S. Constitution, what does it mean for the rest of us? What does it mean? Because you have the FBI, the DOJ, the top law in the world, not even adhering to the second greatest document known to man. Not even adhering to it. They have their own agenda. This indictment to President Trump is not just an indictment on President Trump. It is an indictment on the American people. The Democrats have a different agenda for the American people. They don't have agenda for the America that we all come to love and respect and want to be great. They don't have the same vision for America as we do. Their vision for America is to burn it to the ground. Their vision for America is to remove all the jobs and have us replaced. They said that Tucker was being racist because he was talking about the replacements. More black people being replaced in all of this than anybody. How was what Tucker said is racist? Because he straight up, oh, you can't bring it up. You can't bring it up. Oh, now you're racist for telling the truth. The United States of America is on the verge of collapse. And with them doing this to President Trump, shouldn't it be an alarming? It should be a wake-up call to every single man, woman, and child in this country. Because you and I, we are the generation seeing our country fall apart. We're seeing it fall apart. And as I've been saying, if anyone's sitting there saying, well, we just need to support Trump, he's going to take care of it. Support Trump, he's going to take care of it. Trump has the full force of the federal corrupt government coming down on him. You understand what I'm telling you? So what are you doing? When do you start doing your part? See, we don't have to do like the left and go out and be violent and do all of that crazy stuff. We don't have to do that. We know how to do stuff and bring attention to something without bringing doing a physical thing to anybody. Billions of dollars later for a beer. Billions of dollars later for a company. We need to stand up now and show people that we are going to stand with one of the greatest presidents in the American history. Actually, what they're doing to President Trump right now puts President Trump as number one. He is the greatest president this country has ever had, because not a single time in the history of this nation has anyone ever seen them go after someone like this, their political opponent. It's never, ever happened in the history of this nation. And they know it, but they don't care. They don't care that you know, because they're still going to proceed with this insanity. Let me share this first one with you that I have. This is what President Trump put this out on True Social. He put this on True Social before they actually indicted him. He says, I hear that deranged Jack Smith, in order to interfere with the presidential election of 2024, will be putting out another fake indictment of your favorite president, me, at 5 p.m. And that happened today. Why didn't they do this 2.5 years ago? Why not? 2.5 years ago. Why did they wait so long? Because they wanted to put it in right in the middle of his campaign. And that's what we're seeing. And that's what's happening right now. This is so bad. We actually have an article, and I talked about this extensively on my LFA broadcast, Culture Wars. That's the name of my show on LFA TV, exclusively on Rumble, called Culture Wars. We talked about this. We actually showed some of the indictment that they have for him. And do you want to put some of that on the screen? Were you going to say, you want to put that on the screen, Shannon?
Are you talking about the indictment itself?
Yes, the indictment itself.
Yeah, we can put that.
Let's put some of that on the screen. Yep, there it is, right there.
Okay,
this is the indictment.
Right, and this is pretty much flying all over now, but it says the violations are conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. Now, a lot of people, I'm seeing articles out there saying that this isn't going to hold up Trump from holding office. But my question is when they say conspiracy to obstruct or obstruct of an attempt to obstruct, can they, align that word obstruct with insurrection or rebellion or what? So if so, we could possibly be looking at them trying to apply the 14th Amendment. We'll have to see.
I believe that they are. I mean, because they're not hiding the fact that that's what they want to do.
But Will, let me just tell you this, because this is breaking news. I didn't hear this a while ago. It says the Trump case has been assigned to a U.S. District Judge, Tanya S. Shutkin. According to the court docket, Shutkin is an Obama appointee. And listen to this. It is the only federal judge in Washington who has sentenced January 6 defendants in sentences longer than the government actually requested. So this woman is all about holding people accountable or, sentencing them for their part in January 6th. So that is not good for Trump.
It's not good for America.
Yeah, it's not good for America.
It's not good at all for America. And they know exactly what they're doing. So listen to this. Here it is with Jack Beep Smith. Y'all know what the beep part is? Jack Beep Smith. Here it is. And you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of James Comey. Remember when James Comey came out in 2016, right before, and was spewing out all this nonsense about Hillary Rodham Clinton, like no reasonable prosecutor? You remember that? It's like the same thing. It's like they're going after Trump, talking about they're going after Trump for revenge because he woke the American people up and they're scared for him to return. And listen to the way he's talking on here. It's like he knows what he's doing is wrong. He's got to know.
Good evening. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail. I encourage everyone to read it in full. The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election. The men and women of law enforcement who defended the U.S. Capitol on January 6th are heroes. They are patriots and they are the very best of us. They did not just defend a building or the people sheltering in it. They put their lives on the line to defend who we are as a country and as a people. They defended the very institutions and principles that define the United States. Since the attack on our Capitol, the Department of Justice has remained committed to ensuring accountability for those criminally responsible for what happened that day. This case is brought consistent with that commitment, and our investigation of other individuals continues. In this case, my office will seek a speedy trial so that our evidence can be tested in court and judged by a jury of citizens. In the meantime, I must emphasize that the indictment is only an allegation and that the defendant must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
You hear this? Listen to what he's saying right here. No, go split screen, go back. Listen to what he's saying right here. And knowing good and well, there's not a single Democrat in the United States of America that believes President Trump is innocent. Not a single one. Can y'all produce one? Are there any Democrats? I hope that I'm wrong. But I'm telling you, there's not a single Democrat right now, especially on Capitol Hill, that believe President Trump is not guilty. They all believe that he's guilty. Listen to what he says, because this dude doing what he's doing is completely wrong. These people need to be got.
I must emphasize that the indictment is only an allegation and that the defendant must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law.
How many of y'all believe that? How many of you believe that they want President Trump to have anything fair? Do you believe that they want President Trump to have fairness in all this, Shannon?
Oh, no. I mean, they want him gone is what they want. They want him to be taken out of the competition, out of the lineup, because they know full well anybody you put Trump up against as far as polling numbers and stuff, they're saying Trump's going to win. And so they don't want that. So how's that going to happen is the question, because we know simply he can still run and still be president with just a regular indictment. So what is the end game here, right? Is it public opinion? Because we know the more that they do, the more he rises in the polls.
Do
right?
you think it's possible that they could be doing this just to have President Trump win? I mean, why would they? I mean, I don't think that's the case. I mean, because you're right. Every time they do this to President Trump, guess what happens? His numbers go up. His poll numbers go up. So I can only imagine what his numbers are going to do now. They're going to probably go through the roof. He is number one. Trump is number one. But you know what? You're going to have a whole bunch of rhino Republicans. Now, I've already seen it. There's this group called the Lincoln Stinking Project. They're nothing but Democrats, and they're all excited. They call themselves Republicans. They're rhinos, but they're all excited about this. They're happy to see our country turn into a banana republic. Someone help me understand that. Is there anybody right now happy that our country's turned into a banana republic? I bet you that you're not. I'm willing to bet that you're not. We are seeing history unfold right now before our very eyes. And they're doing this on purpose. They're doing it deliberately.
Yeah, well, and look at the indictment. Again, I have it up on my screen. And it's funny because it says that the defendant, like every American, had the right to publicly claim, even falsely, what they're saying it was falsely, that there had been an outcome detriment of fraud during the election and that he won, right? So they're saying he had the right to do that. The problem is right here. They're saying that he had a conspiracy to defraud the United States by using dishonesty, fraud, and deceit to impair, obstruct. See, this word right here keeps coming up, obstruct. What do you think that means? That to me is screaming the 14th Amendment. Now, that means, was there an insurrection? Was there a rebellion? Did he sympathize with the people that were doing this on the Capitol grounds? If any of that happened, then.
But he wasn't sympathizing with anybody. It's not even, but if it happened, it did not happen.
And you know what?
President Trump told people, march peacefully. He told people after all the chaos happened, he told people to respect the law, go home peacefully, respect the law, go home peacefully. That's what he said. There was nothing else that he said. Yeah, but the 100%. Left, they don't care. They're treating this whole thing the same way Adam Pencil Neck Schiff did with the transcript. He was reading, and none of it was in the transcript. But then they come to find out, they questioned him about it. He said, well, I was doing a parody. He was lying. He was literally lying. The same thing that they're doing here. They're literally lying. Nothing, President Trump said nothing wrong. They're doing this because of what he said, because he told people to be peaceful. That's not what they want. They wanted President Trump. There's a video with Nancy Pelosi where she's upset because President Trump did not go to the Capitol that day. She's upset because it was part of the plan to get him to come there to make it look like he was leading the charge. But he didn't do that. And she's upset about it. But of course, they never want to play that video.
And
they never want you to see that.
Why do they want that to happen? Because then they can apply the 14th Amendment. I'm telling you, I think that's their end game. Ramaswamy said the same thing. I know I'm reading all these things saying that, you know, this indictment doesn't read like it's going to go that way. But you know how these people are, Will. You know how they are. They change meanings and words all the time. So they could easily say obstruct means rebellion. Therefore, he can't be president.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do.
I mean, but that's what they've always done. They want everyone to believe that President Trump was in the wrong.
Because
he
not,
didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And you know, and there's another instance when during the debates, President Trump told the PB, y'all know who that is, because I can't say it a certain way because then they'll do something here.
Yeah.
But he told this particular group to stand by, stand down. Don't do it, meaning don't do anything. Don't do anything. So he has no control over anybody, but they're going to use that against Trump. I'm telling you right now, hear me now, believe me later on, because they've repeated it so much. That's how I know. He told them don't do anything. Oh my goodness. That means do something. Wait a minute. I thought no meant no. When did no mean something else? No means no. When he says don't do anything, that means don't do anything. You can't control anybody. It is not the U.S. military. If it was the U.S. military going out doing something what President Trump told them to do and it was unlawful, that's another thing. But you're talking about average day, everyday citizens. They do whatever that they want to because we live in the freest land in the world. You can do whatever it is you want to. He has no control over that. And they know that, but they're going to try to use that against him. Listen to what Garland said. Listen to what Garland said after, and you know what? I don't ever see him come out after any of these indictments or anything, but he came out after this one to talk to the cameras.
January 6th, attack on our democracy. Career men and women of the Justice Department engaged in what has become the largest investigation in our history. In November last, I appointed Jack Smith, a special counsel, to take on the ongoing investigation in order to underline the department's commitment to accountability and independence. Mr. Smith and his team, experienced, principled, career agents, and prosecutors have followed the facts and the law wherever they lead.
You hear this? He's telling them to follow the facts on the law wherever they may lead. So if President Trump didn't do anything wrong, if he actually did something wrong, then why didn't this come up 2.5 years ago? Why didn't it come up then? Why wouldn't they do this then? They had ample time. They're doing this now because President Trump, again, he's leading the polls, and mainly because they got more dirt on the Biden crime family. As soon as they get the dirt on the Biden crime family, indict. Up more dirt, indict. I'm telling you, they're going to more dirt is going to come out about Joe Biden, and they're going to bring another indictment. And it's like, what, the day after Devin Archer go talk to the Republicans? What did Devin Archer say that we don't know about yet? What did he say that they're not releasing? Because for them to go the day after, do you think it's just a coincidence? Something must have been said. Something must have been proven for them to go and do this the very next day. Something. Am I wrong? What do you think, Shannon? See, a lot of people not even thinking about it like this. Something had to be said in there because they still haven't released the transcript. Something had to be said for them to go to this extreme the very next day.
Well, I think if the transcript was in our favor, I think that Comer would have released it. But listen, there's so much damaging stuff on the Biden family. We don't even need Devin Archer's testimony. I mean, do we really? And then, of course, now we hear that more witnesses are going to come forward and be interviewed. So, you know what? This is what happens when you have a tyrannical government that is afraid of losing power. They're being exposed for the corruption in the DOJ, the FBI, the IRS, the weaponization of the government, the Biden crime family, Obama family, Clinton family. All this is being exposed. And so they're saying, listen, we have one enemy that says when they get in power, if they get in power, they're going to eliminate it all. And that threat to their tyrannical government is Trump. Now, I think Ramaswamy also is a huge threat to them. But at this point, well, not as far as polls, but in the future, he has a clear plan on how to get rid of them, too. And what did Trump say, Will, in his rally this past weekend? He told the American people, he prompted them and said, listen, if you have another Republican candidate that is not willing to take on and get rid of or fight the DOJ for their corruption, primary them.
Yes.
Get them out of there. He's saying, listen, if I'm not around, right, you need somebody to fight in my place. Make sure it's somebody that's going to take on this corruption. And I think it was
he didn't say the part if I'm not around.
Well, he didn't say that.
He didn't. Just be clear, yeah, he didn't say if I'm not around. But he's saying that for those that are not standing up against this corrupt criminal DOJ, primary them. If there's rhino Republicans out there, and you know how you can find out? Because none of them are saying anything. They're being silent about what's happening. They're being silent. They don't say anything. Oh, look what they're doing to Trump. I'm not going to say anything. And you know why they don't say anything? Because they don't have no backbone. Well, they don't have a spine. And he's telling everybody to primary them. Get rid of these rhino Republicans. You have to get rid of them. The problem that comes into play with that is that you have people like Mitch McConnell making sure that these Republicans that love the country, want the country to prosper, do not win. If it's up to Mitch McConnell, he's going to make sure the Democrats continue to control the Senate.
Yeah, now let me tell you, this is a perfect example. Mike Pence chimed in today. He said this: today's indictment serves as an important reminder. Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States.
Wow.
Do you hear what I just said?
Wow.
He said, should never be president of the United States. That's Mike Pence for you. Primary his butt.
Wow.
Right? DeSantis, he was kind of, wishy-washy. He said, while I've seen reports, I have not read the indictment. I do, though, believe that we need to enact reform so that the Americans have the right to remove cases from Washington, D.C. to their home districts. Washington, D.C. is a swamp, and it's unfair to have them stand trial before a jury that is reflective of a swamp mentality. I don't know. See, I think that's, not strong enough. I think Ramaswamy is the only one that really came out strong in support of Trump and what is happening to him now. Apparently, Ramaswamy did not agree with Trump while J6 was happening. He did put out a tweet, and it's been circulating out there that he didn't agree with what Trump did that day. But since then, I think he's gathered more facts, information, and has
I don't know, but you know what? I have my reservations for anyone that didn't realize what was happening that day, like Nikki Haley. A lot of people, Nikki Haley, she jumped on the bandwagon with the left immediately. Without knowing all of the details, she automatically jumped on the bandwagon with the left. And then she went to go down to Mar-a-Lago afterwards, and President Trump said no. She did that to herself. People who automatically jump on the same ship when it comes to those on the left, they have not been paying attention. A lot of people did the exact same thing when it came to Ukraine.
Yeah,
they did the same thing. They automatically jumped on the side of what the Democrats were doing. And I said, wait a minute. Anytime the Democrats are trying to push an agenda, supporting something, you need to step back and try to look at the big picture. And of course, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Now
people, billions of dollars later of your money going over there, not even protecting the American people. And then we're talking about, then you have some Republicans still saying, no, we need to give them money. That's not helping. That's not the solution.
There are 4 GOP candidates right now that need to go that do not support Trump. That's Nikki Haley, Hutchinson,
Pence,
and Chris Christie for sure. All need to go.
Yeah, all of them need to go. Let's listen to Ramswamy. Listen to what he says. Listen to what Ramaswamy says about this whole indictment.
It's another sad moment in our country's history. The 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump, has yet again been indicted by the Biden DOJ, a political party in power that is now repeatedly using police force to indict and arrest and potentially eliminate its political opponents from competition. This is a politicized prosecution. It is a political persecution through prosecution, now in a 3rd indictment just in a matter of months against the person who is still at present the lead contender in the Republican primary for U.S. president. I want to be very clear. I am running for U.S. president in that same Republican primary. It would be easier for me if Donald Trump were eliminated from competition. That's not how I want to win. This is not about politics to me. This is about first principles. We do not want to become a country where the party in power is able to use banana republic-like tactics to eliminate its political opponents. Yet I'm sad to say that's exactly where we are.
That is exactly where we are. And so many people kept pushing this whole idea, when I was telling people what's possibly going to come. I kept telling people what's going to end up happening. And people kept going, no, Will, we have the U.S. Constitution. We have the Constitution. I kept telling people, these evil people on the left, they don't care. These evil people on the left, they do not care. And then, now, so just imagine, because everything that they've thrown at President Trump, nothing has stuck. They can't get anything to stick. How do you think the Democrats are going to feel when they can't get this to stick? Because ultimately, President Trump didn't do anything wrong. They just want President Trump out the way. If the law in this country actually do the right thing, President Trump, nothing's going to happen. I'm telling you, if they do the right thing, hopefully there'll be a judge like the one that was with the Hunter Biden judge. When the judge started finding out all the detail, the judge said, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not signing off on it. Hopefully that will be the case here. But see, they want to try this in D.C., where majority of the people in D.C. have this demonic way of thinking. The majority of the people in D.C. don't care about the truth. They only want the power, and they want to stay in power. They want to keep their power. That's all that they care about. Listen to this one. Listen to this.
It's a terribly tragic day that we find ourselves in, where political speech now has been criminalized, where an existing Justice Department, Merrick Garland, has a boss. His name is Joe Biden. And Joe Biden's running against Donald Trump and losing currently. And now we have that Justice Department indicting President Trump for actions that he took as the chief executive of the United States with respect to public policy matters. So now we have the criminalization and the weaponization of public policy and political speech by one political party over another. And it's not surprising when it comes. It comes on the heels of unbelievable allegations against Mr. Biden and his son, as well as the fact that Donald Trump is leading in the polls right now. And now we have what essentially is a regurgitation of the allegations in the January 6th report, which was highly political. It really reads no differently. So it's really an astounding document because for the first time in American history, a former president is being prosecuted by a political opponent who wields the power of the criminal justice system for what he believed in and the policies and the political speech that he carried out as president.
You hear this? You hear this? Because of political speech, which is free speech. They're wanting to go after President Trump because of free speech, what he said. Think about that. People have been removed from these different tech companies because of their free speech, not calling for any violence, not saying anything hateful, just not agreeing with those on the left. People have lost incomes. They've lost their history. They lost their friends, everything, because someone disagrees with them. And that's what's happening here. President Trump disagreed with what took place. President Trump disagrees what they tell us that we need to believe. They tell us that we have to believe it. And if you don't have to believe it, then you're a denier. But it was okay for them to deny in 2016. They denied up and down. It was okay for them to do it. But if we do it because they know what they did, then it's a problem because they don't want people to know the truth.
This is unprecedented. It affects not just Donald Trump. It affects every American who now realizes that the First Amendment is under assault. It's under attack by the Biden administration. We now have a political incumbent who is attacking Americans for their beliefs, attacking Americans for their speech, and attacking Americans for their politics. This has never happened in the history of our country, and it's playing out right now.
Yeah. It's never happened, people. This is literally history in the making. This has never happened. And I'm sitting there thinking about all this. I'm like, why? Now I can understand if President Trump was actually doing wrong things. Then I would agree. Like, Joe Biden, he's actually doing wrong things. I can understand that. But you know what it really comes down to? It comes down to because we are actually in a spiritual war. We really are. Right now, we need to pray. We need to pray that President Trump, God hears our prayers and bring him through this. We need to pray for our country because with them actually doing this to a political opponent that is beating them already says a lot. And I'm sitting there, I'm still trying to grasp the whole thing that I'm sitting there telling everybody that, my God, we are really actually seeing this happen. This is not a movie. They're doing this because they feel like no one can touch us. As long we have to keep President Trump from in there because I'm telling you, if you think America was great under President Trump returned, this country is going to flourish and be so independent from the rest of the one world order. It's gonna be the America that we deserve, that we want, that we fought, that men and women in the past have bled and died for. We will have that America again. And they know this. So this is the very reason why they want to destroy everything they can when it comes to President Trump. And that means if they want to destroy the United States of America, then so be it. Let me give you a prime example of what they're doing because they are literally smearing President Trump. That's what they're doing here. They're smearing him. And guess what happens? This is just a straight up tactic that they've constantly used time and time and time again. Listen to this one. This is with Nancy Grossly Pelosi. Listen to what she says. And I want y'all to pay attention to what she says. Pay attention carefully because she literally says, this is dated. This is dated. This wasn't recent. This is dated, but it still applies. Listen to what she says because we're seeing it play out right now.
And then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and if they see it's reported in the press that this, and this, so they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made.
Y'all hearing this?
It's a tactic.
Y'all hearing this? It's a tactic. She's literally saying it. She literally said it. And I remember this was years ago when she said this, and I'm like, did she actually just tell everybody what they're doing, their tactic? Is she actually telling everybody? And there it is. And then you can the fake fact checkers. I mean, go out there and look it up. She actually said it. This is before they did all the AI that we know about. This is before all of that. She actually said that. I'm willing to bet majority of y'all remember her saying that. I'm like, what? She's actually telling everyone exactly how they do it to smear people. It's like the most bizarre thing ever. And the press is like, oh, that's how it works. You feed us a bunch of propaganda. We write about the propaganda. And then we come back and ask you about the propaganda. And you confirm the propaganda. That's why they are called government state media. If you have not looked up government state media, look up government state media 1940s, 1930s Germany. Look it up. It's the exact same thing today. Don't call them liberal media. Call them government state media. If you're ever out anywhere, just refer to them. Hey, everybody, it's the government state media. They'll know exactly what you're talking about. If they've done the job for any amount of time, they'll know what you're talking about. Refer to them as government state media because that's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are. Listen to this because this is somebody who's not on government state media. And of course, the left, they're starting to hate Jesse Waters like they hated Tucker. They still hate Tucker. Listen.
Impaired the federal government from functioning. Isn't that literally the Republican Party platform to reduce the ability of the federal government from functioning? And then they say it's a crime to ask Pence not to certify? I wonder if Pence would agree that that was a crime. Apparently, the campaign managers told the defendant, Donald Trump, he had a 5 to 10% chance of winning these challenges, but he still fought on. The indictment said, how dare he? With 5 to 10% chance, I wonder what the guys in Vegas would say. You now have suspicious activity in Philadelphia, Detroit, and Arizona and Nevada. They're going to have to litigate suspicious election activity in all of those states. They're going to be presenting evidence. The defense is going to be presenting evidence. And then the prosecution is going to have to knock that down. We're going to...
Now listen to this, because Jesse Waters bring up a valid point. They're going to do this. And of course, it's not going to be like the hearing that they had for January of 2021. Remember the hearings that they had where they had Liz Cheney and Adam Kissinger, which are totally rhinos. They hate Trump. This is not going to be the same scenario here. In this case, the defendants, the lawyers will be able to bring up certain things, and they're going to have, and then the prosecutors will have to defend the information that's coming out. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Because listen what Jesse Waters said, because this is not going to, it's going to not end up being good for the Democrats.
Relitigate all of these deep blue Democrat districts over the entire country in court in 2024 in an election year. That's really, do you think that's healthy for the country, Jonathan Turley? And do you think that's a road the Democrats want to go down to defend the integrity of Philadelphia's election?
I mean, come on. That's what's going to end up happening, because other stuff is going to come to the surface. It's going to have to. It's going to have to. All the stuff that the Democrats did not want people to be aware of, all of the stuff that the Democrats didn't want people to act on, they're going to find out about it. It's going to come out. See, the Democrats, they always do this. They always go into action because they think, oh my goodness, we got to get rid of Trump. We got to get rid of Trump no matter what it is, no matter what the cost. No matter what the cost is, they got to get rid of him. Even if it means burning down the country, got to get rid of him. That's their mentality. And they're not thinking it through. If we do this, we do that, what will happen? What will be the ending results? To give you an example, in the state of California, they started charging people for having to buy bags. When you go to the grocery store, it's a nickel or 10 cents, what have you, to purchase a bag for your groceries. They started charging for bags. What ended up happening, the homeless no longer could afford the bags. So what was happening, the homeless would take those bags and they would defecate in them. But now they can't afford the bags. Where do you think they're going? Right there on the street. Because the Democrats didn't think it through. They all say that they want to be champion of people, but they're not. They're creating a homeless epidemic. People are defecating, doing drugs all on the street because of their policies of what they have done. And they want everybody to act like, well, this is just normal. It is not normal. Every time they do something, it causes a bad reaction. Democrats are like a bad rash that won't go away for the whole country. It's like a bad rash. And while we're looking at all this indictment stuff, while we're looking at all of how they're attacking Trump, and it's like, over here, look what all the corruption that's happened over here on the left. And everyone, the entire world sees the left doing the corruption. But then the left go, oh, wait a minute, they're all looking at us doing this corruption. I know what we'll do. It's Trump. He's the one that's doing it. He's the one that did it. And because stupid people can't figure out that the left just told them that it was them, but because they see the corruption happening, but they go right along with what the left is saying and look that way. So while all of this is happening, and some people they constantly say it, oh, it's a distraction. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. Well, when you say it's a distraction, at least put what you say it's a distraction from. Right? Because a lot of people say that, oh, it's just a distraction. From what? I mean, there's so much happening. Is it a distraction from the collapsed border? We know that's happening. Maybe the collapsed border is the distraction from the food crisis. Or maybe the food crisis is a distraction from the gas prices. Or the gas prices is a distraction from what's happening in Ukraine, possibly taking us to World War III. Or them indicting President Trump isn't a distraction for them going after Joe Biden. I truly believe that the Democrats are saying, okay, well, since the Republicans are going to go after Joe Biden, we're going to go after Trump. Because Trump is their guy, Joe Biden is ours, we're going to go after him. But we're going to bring the full force of the federal government against President Trump. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? The Republicans just talking about it. They have all of this factual information on the Biden crime family. And what do? What do? They're just talking. Something must have happened yesterday. I don't know what it possibly be. I can only come to a conclusion. Something must have happened in that hearing yesterday with Devin Archer. Something must have happened for them to do this today. What do you think? What do you think? And of course, the United States of America, how do you say it? Bidenomics, right? When they first brought out Bidenomics, and Joe Biden even said it, they brought it out trying to say that, oh, it's a bad thing. And Joe Biden said, we like the term, so we ran with it. And trying to tell everyone that Bidenomics is good for America. Well, while they're doing this, and it's all by design to crush America, America just got downgraded. Do y'all know what that means? Do y'all know exactly what that means? We're close to becoming a third world country. Look at San Francisco, look at some of these other locations. We are that already. But we've been downgraded. Look at this next clip I have for you. They're straight up saying that the United States of America has been downgraded. This is not good. On the same day, this came out on the same day they indicted President Trump. Because see, again, they know with President Trump, the United States of America will flourish. But they don't want that. They want a total collapse of the United States of America so they can usher in their liberal utopia. Listen to this.
We want to bring you this breaking news. Fitch has downgraded the U.S. credit rating to a AA from a AAA. They note the difference in governance between AA-rated countries versus AAA-rated countries. Also, the continuous or the many, many political showdowns surrounding the debt limit. We knew when the debt limit showdown was going on that Fitch was considering this downgrade, even if the debt limit was not breached. And so here we are with a downgrade of the U.S. credit rating to a AA plus from a AAA.
So they still downgraded the U.S. They still downgraded. And when you hear Joe Biden, I did $1.7 trillion. Okay, what does that mean? It don't even mean anything because the deficit is still at $32 trillion and growing. What does that even mean? He regurgitates the same stuff over and over, and he actually hasn't done anything that has benefited the American people. Nothing. And I said, well, they did the chip deal. They did the chip deal. Who did that benefit? Who did that benefit? Nancy Pelosi's husband? Because he sure did do some insider tradings on that one. Yesterday, something must have happened. I'm still saying this, and I don't know if anyone else is saying this. Something else must have happened in that hearing for them to do this today. Listen to this one. This one where they're talking about Joe Biden, right? Because, see, I'm telling y'all, something came out of it. Because here, this listen, then I'm going to comment.
And on the topic of a Biden impeachment, look, if impeachable crimes are surfaced, if they are surfaced, and I say this as a Democrat, fine. They have found no evidence whatsoever that there are impeachable crimes.
You hear this? He said if they find them, then whatever. But then he comes and say, well, they haven't found anything. They found plenty. But the Democrats, again, when it comes to the truth, they ignore the truth. They don't care about the truth. We're going to hear this over and over. They don't care about the truth. And let me share this one with you. Look at this. They try to say that Joe Biden hasn't done anything wrong. But my question is how does Joe Biden get a house that's $5.5 million and then has another one that's $1.5 million on his salary if he hadn't been doing anything? How do you do that? How do you do that?
I worked in government. I mean, I've done it twice, 3 years for Reagan and 3 years for Trump. Byron, I lost money. I had to dip into my savings. I didn't come out buying any damn mansions. How does this guy do this? Where'd that money come from?
You do it. Listen, you do it. It's real simple, Larry. The reason why he was able to buy these beach houses, millions and millions of dollars, is because his son was out there getting a bag for selling the family's name, basically Joe Biden's name, across the globe. There's no other way to do this. Look, I'm going to go back to my banking days on this one, Larry. Yeah. There is no way somebody's qualifying for a $5 million beach house when you're making $174,000 a year. It just ain't happening. You don't qualify for that loan. And you definitely didn't save up enough in a deposit in order to put down that much. You just didn't do it. I'm sorry. Those are the facts, America. Joe Biden was on the take, and now he's luxuriating in the fact that he was on the take.
Yeah, he's reaping the benefits from it. He's been on the take, and they don't want people to know. They don't want people to know. I don't know what's going to happen to our country. And it's not going to be President Trump coming to save us. I'm voting for Trump. But it's not going to be, I've heard some people saying, well, Trump is going to fix it. Trump is going to fix it. And they missed the point. They're missing the point. You're supposed to do your part. In this whole scheme of things, we're not supposed to sit idly by. Like my shirt right now says pray. I can sit right here in the chair and I can pray all day. And that's all I do, pray. Do you think God would just simply bless me because I'm sitting in the chair just praying? Or does he want me to get up and act on my prayers? And I can pray while I'm acting on my prayers. There's nothing wrong with constantly praying, but just sitting by and expecting, well, God, I just prayed about it. You need to give it to me. How does that even sound? No, seriously, God, I just prayed. I prayed to you. Now just give me what I want. You tell me how that's going to work out for you. But when God see his children praying, acknowledging him, and then we're stepping out in faith. You understand that? And then we step out in faith and say, God, I trust in you. I'm going to step out because I believe in you. And I believe that you're going to be there with me. That's what it's about.
And
We're supposed to do our part.
And people say, you know, God's going to take care of it. But how do you think God's going to do that? He's going to use us. He's going to use his people on earth to take care of it.
Yes.
To do our part. He says, when you see these signs, keep going, keep moving, keep fighting. Right?
Let me give you an example. Put this on the screen for me because we're about to run out of time. You see this picture right here? This is a young lady, and I played this on my LFA broadcast as well. This young lady here, she pulled up to a gas station and she's pulling whatever change that she has to put gas in her vehicle. Because it's tough. It's tough. So she's counting the cash, quarters. You can see some quarters she got on the hood there, a couple of dollars. And she takes what she has and she goes inside. Watch what happens. Make sure you go to full screen. Make this full screen. Watch this, everybody.
She's counting her change. Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that. It's crazy. I think he noticed it too. Wow. Wait, what is this dude doing? Do you see him over there? Do you see him?
Did he just?
You see him? Wow. That is so nice.
So y'all see what he just did? Split screen it for me. She's not even looking. She's counting the change that she has. He went over there, put the gas handle in her vehicle, the nozzle, and paid for it and started pumping it. And watch what happens next. Watch what happens next. See, this is how God uses people. She's doing her part. She's doing her part. She probably has to go to work, trying to figure out how she's going to get to work. She's doing her part. She got her money, the little change that she has. And watch how God used that black man to help this white lady. And color has nothing to do with it. But God helped. Watch.
Yeah, she's going to the gas station. Oh.
She goes inside to pay
I want to know
gas.
Oh, dude, it's this guy. He just pumped this lady's gas over here and he left.
Look, she noticed.
Wow.
Watch this. And she's looking.
And look,
she sees that she has gas in her car.
Around, so.
And she starts crying. Look at that. She's praying. Who do you think she's giving glory to?
That doesn't make
Who do you think she's giving glory to? Who do you think she's giving glory to? See, every time, and I see it's the same thing with me. Every single time one of you bless me by hitting the share button, by sending me stars, by sending me Rumble rants, by sending me super chat, by going to my website, UnitedAmericaFirst.com. I've always been clear about this, that God put it on his people's heart to help me. Do you understand it? See, that's how it worked. God's just not going to make a bag of money appear. He uses his people to bless those that are doing something. And the only reason why you ever send me a star, the only reason why you ever support me is because you see what I'm doing. You know that I will go out and do man on the street. You know I will go out to the front lines of this battle. You see what I'm doing. It's the same thing. And when you do it, God put it on your heart. I know every single time. Every single time. That's why I give God all the glory. Because he put it on his people's heart to bless me. You understand that? Same thing there. And every time we think that it's really bad and down and out and it looks bad for our country, just remember, God is in control. God is in control. My name is Will Johnson, and we just talked about it.